Noah, go ahead.
This for uh, Ernest. It seems like the defensive line rotation is a lot smaller than it was last year. I'm guessing due to injuries for the interior guys. Are you playing more snaps, and how is that affecting your game and what your responsibilities are?
Ernest, you're muted.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that. But coming off of last year, it's a big transition. Coming off of like playing 20, 25 snaps last year to playing 60 snaps a game. It's a lot, honestly. Just got to get used to it. I feel like a rotation is really good. We got a good bunch of guys, coming in and being behind. We coming off of little injuries, but I feel like that's not going to stop us anyway for the defensive line.
Noah?
Yeah, just you mentioned how it's harder playing more than double the snaps. Do you see that affecting you more in the pass rush potentially, where it's harder to keep those legs up down the stretch when you're playing all these run defense snaps as well?
Honestly, it is a little bit, just because I have not been used to doing that, but I just keep fighting hard. Pete, the nutritionist, Katie, nutritionist, does a great job. Give me right stuff before the game and during halftime. Fruit snacks during the sideline. Keeping me hydrated during the game. So just have my body right for during the game and keep on competing the way I want to.
Zach? Nope. Drew?
Hey, this one's for Drake. Sorry, I had an issue with my hair. Obviously, the running backs have played really well over the past 3 games, but do you feel like there are any aspects in the running backs room where you guys can improve heading into this week's game against Purdue?
Most definitely, always room for improvement. Watching the film from last week and really from all the weeks, there's always plenty of missed opportunities, plenty of rooms for that we can improve. Last week, I definitely left a few yards on the field, and really just gotta be in my playbook and watch more film.
Noah?
Also for Drake. Drake, you and Isaiah, you've been talked about as sort of a thunder and lightning duo. He's obviously the bigger back, goes inside a lot more, whereas you go outside, as we saw with that touchdown last week. Is that an aspect you want to add to your game, that the more inside running style that we saw you using a little bit more when you were the number 1 back last week, or are you happy to be sort of the electric big play guy?
To be completely honest with you, I actually I prefer to run inside. I like running straight forward, straight downhill, rather than having to run outside, stretch it, and then it's just running downhill. I'm a lot more comfortable running downhill. I mean, obviously you see my size, you wouldn't expect me to be in between the tackles runner, but that's where I'm most comfortable.
Amit?
This question's for Ernest. There's been some injuries in the middle of the line, but the ends have been getting good pressure. As a defensive line, how do you guys focus on getting to the quarterback more in the next few weeks, and how are you guys approaching that task?
So, just keep everything fresh and new every week, not showing the same stuff as we used to. Just want to get pressure to the QB at all times. We had Tommy's doing a phenomenal job. He already has 2 sacks on the season. Echo, he's always putting pressure on the QB as well. Just showing everything new every week, not the same stuff.
Drew, do you have another one?
Yeah, Drake, to follow up on what you were talking about in between the tackles, outside of your 4th and 1 run on the first drive against Nebraska before your touchdown, no other Northwestern halfbacks got a first down run. So, and especially on some 3rd and short situations. So how do you think you and some of the other running backs, especially since Isaiah was out, you, Evan Hull, Cam Porter, can improve kind of on that short yardage situation to kind of move the chains?
Well, I mean, for that play specifically, what really helped me was my pre-snap read. They were loading the box. I knew that the way that they were lined up, there was no way that I was going to be able to get the first down. Took the pre-snap. I seen that it was probably going to wash, and so I just took it back. And honestly, what helps me most in those short yardage situations, just taking that pre-snap read, watching film, knew exactly where they were going to go, and I just reacted. And in terms of improvement for the whole room, I would just say we would just have to get more reps and just be more comfortable in those situations.
Noah.
Yeah, Ernest, following up on what we were talking about earlier, I think it's fair to say the entire line is experiencing those enhanced reps the same way you are. You know, especially those guys inside, Spivak and Saunders, playing tons of snaps every game. So as you guys go through the weeks with each of you, everybody in the rotation playing more snaps than they've ever played before, is that something where you guys get better at learning how to handle that as the season goes on, or is it something that starts to wear on your legs as the weeks as we start to get deeper into the season?
I think it's honestly it's better for us, in practice. Coach Long always teaches us to run to the ball. Effort is one of his main things he talks to us about. Just focusing on effort. He's giving us a break sometimes, but he wants us to get used to us with those reps in practice. So he wants us to run to the ball, effort, punch the ball out. But I feel like us doing that in practice is making us a lot better.
Dave.
Hey, Ernest, the shutout string now in the second half, obviously after the first game, it probably isn't a big point. After you beat Iowa going into this game, all of a sudden people are talking about it. Now, has this become a thing with you guys now where it's become you always want to obviously shut out the opponent, but in this case, has this become a major motivating factor for you?
It's just it actually is, honestly. Let up the points in the first half. We're always taught to don't let up. Always, keep pushing, fight as hard as you can, stay physical. We don't want to let points up in the first half either way. But I mean, if it happens, it happens, and we just fix those mistakes. Coach Hank, he does a great job. Keep on punching the ball, keep on being physical. Just doing the same things. So we could we could do whatever it takes for them to not score.
I know we have another question for Drake, but are there any more questions for Ernest? We got to get him out of here. He's got class. Student athlete. All right, one more for Ernest. Noah, go ahead.
Yeah, Ernest, you guys are facing a team this week in Purdue that has this high-octane passing attack. They've been throwing the ball all up and down the field their first two games. Does that increase not necessarily the pressure, but the emphasis on you guys getting pressure on O'Connell, or is it same focus as it's always been, even though they're going to be throwing the ball on you guys all day?
Honestly, yes, that's one of our main focuses. This team has passed the ball more than any other team we're going to face. So we're looking for those pass plays to come, and we take advantage of them. We have Eku, Tommy, me, Chris Bergen. We're hoping that I'll take that advantage to get that pressure along, and hopefully Grayson Mann to get to the quarterback and get the sacks that we always wanted.
Thanks, Ernest. You can get out of here. Zach, you had one for Drake.
Yeah, question, Drake. Northwestern's best start in the Big Ten since 2000. The last time that happened, your dad was the running back for the Cats. Just have you talked to him at all about that, and what does that mean for you to be a part of now such another fast start?
Yeah, it's honestly crazy seeing things come full circle. We did talk about it a couple of days ago, and I think I forgot what he was telling me. He said, he wasn't able to beat Purdue, but he has faith in me that we can beat Purdue. This team that we got, we're solid.
Anything else for Drake? Thanks, Drake.
Thank you.
Okay, joining us today, representing the defense, we have defensive line coach Marty Long And representing the offense, running backs coach, and recruited coordinator, Lou Ianni. So with that, we'll go into questions. Please direct your question. And we will start with Noah.
For Coach Long, I was just talking to Ernest about how it seems as though from watching, you guys have a bit of a reduced rotation on the D-line so far this year with the injuries you guys have faced. How does that change the way you guys approach games if you got a couple less kind of bullets in the gun in terms of how many guys you're rotating in?
Coach Long, you're muted.
Oh, awesome. We have quite a few guys on the defensive line that are on scholarship, and what we do in our room is very unique, and that is that it's next man up thought, and so I coach them, the other guy coach the guys up, and we make sure that everybody's ready to go. And Coach Fitz really likes to rotate a lot of guys. So when I first came here, I was 2+1, 2 tackles plus the next one, or 2 ends and plus the next one. And Coach Fitz is all hands on deck. So we get them all ready to go.
Amit.
Coach Long, to follow up on that, you just talked about the next man up, and we've seen Saunders and Spivak, playing a big way. How would you assess how they've performed their duties in the starting role, and what can they do to kind of keep building on that in these next few weeks?
Well, I tell you, those guys have came up really big for us. We haven't lost anything inside with those tackles. Really proud of how they've played, how they've attacked, how they've knocked guys off the ball. I think we're giving up somewhere around 12 points a game. And I'd say the next thing that they have to do is continue to improve in their pass rush. Their rundown stuff is great. And there's constant work on that every week.
Drew.
Kind of to follow up on Mitt's question, Coach Long. In terms of the rotations, obviously there's been some injuries that have forced you to kind of reshuffle the line. And as you were saying, Coach Fitz kind of likes shuffling the players and ensuring that next man up mentality. Kind of what has gone into your decision of creating these D-line rotations, and kind of does that change from week to week, or are you keeping it pretty stable heading into this game against Purdue?
I'd say it's the same rotation this week as last week, and just have the guys play better.
Zach.
Question for Coach Ianni. The last time you guys played at Purdue, a real standout performance from Jeremy Larkin. Just what do you remember about that game, and then what kind of going full circle, what Jeremy's been able to bring now to the program since then as a part of the coaching staff?
Yeah, Zach, that was a special day for me, special day for the program. That was my first game as a coach at my alma mater, so it was really exciting to start the year off like that. And then Jeremy getting his first start and having such a great game, it was really exciting. Thinking, here I'm coming back to my alma mater, I get to coach a guy like Jeremy for 3 years, and unfortunately I only got to coach him for 3 games. And it was a really good by him. And obviously, as his injury occurred, luckily we found out. And, it was hard for Jeremy. It was really hard for him during that season. But you know what? He found his life's calling. He's helping us out. He's our defensive GA now. He's a big part of our program. Big reason why our defense is having success, especially in the secondary with those young guys. Sky's I'm really excited for him. I look at him as a son, and can't wait to see how his career goes from there.
Did you have a follow-up, Zach?
Yeah, following up on that, just you mentioned coaching at your alma mater. Just what has that been like for you, and then especially to be a part of such a special start to the season like this?
Yeah, it's been real special. You talk about that 18 year when we went to the Big Ten championship game, and just see the pride and see all the alums and see the guys I played with and see guys who have been fans of this university and this program for so long, to see us reach that pinnacle. And now as we start again and having another fast start, and it's such a unique time and year, it's just really cool that I know we do it the right way here. Coach Fitz has built a program on the right values, and has put this team in position despite all the things going on outside of our walls to be able to go out and execute and do what we need to do to win games. It just shows what this place is all about. We're the best of both worlds, and it's really cool to be a part of it.
Drew.
Hey, Coach Aney. Obviously, the running back rotations has been one of the strong suits of Northwestern's offense this year. What has gone into kind of the rotations, and how do you feel like kind of each of your three main running backs have played, and especially in the case of Drake and Evan Hall kind of stepping up when Isaiah was out last week? So how do you feel Isaiah and those two kind of have played throughout the season, and what are you anticipating?
Yeah, it's nice. I think we have a really nice room, and they all complement each other differently. Obviously, Isaiah, when he's healthy, he's the lead dog, and he's done a great job of being kind of that older guy who's kind of helping teach everybody else what it's like to play a Big Ten game, because it's physical now. It's physical. And then this whole year is just Big Ten only. So he's kind of shown everybody his process, how he prepares and how he goes about his business. And then you throw in Drake, who had great experience last year, and he brings a different element to the game with his speed and quickness. And he's so dynamic. It's funny. I always tell guys, defenders don't know where he's going to go, and I don't know where he's going to go. So he's a special talent, and it's a great compliment with Isaiah's kind of brawn and toughness and Drake's speed and quickness. And then you add in Evan. In my opinion, Evan's the hardest worker on this football team. You tally minute to minute of a guy working on his process. I don't know if there's anybody who spends more time at this facility trying to be the best football player he can be. He's earned his right to be on the football field, and he continues every day to show why he needs to be on the field. And the rotation, as we go through this thing, those guys, we just try to find spots to get those guys the ball. Coach Bajakian's offense is built upon playmakers, and those three guys are playmakers. And then you throw in a guy like Jesse Brown, who just does everything right. And he's such a unique story and such a great kid. And he's like the glue to that whole room. And it's really fun. Those four guys have done a great job, and they've helped the young freshman come along. Cam Porter, who's, like when you see a quarterback throw and he's got it. I think you see the same thing with a running back. Cam Porter's got it. He looks the part, plays the part. He's a guy's going to be a special guy in this program. So really excited about those guys. It's just nice to have that type of depth right now.
Oh, did you have something?
Did you say me? I thought wasn't.
Sure did. No.
Okay, my bad. Coach Long, just looking at the Purdue matchup in particular, you guys are coming off playing a team in Nebraska who, focuses on the quarterback run in the passing game as well. A lot of scrambling from both Martinez and McCaffrey, whereas with O'Connell of Purdue, rarely, if ever, scrambles even in passing situations. How does that change the way you approach the game as a defensive line when you have a quarterback that you don't have to worry about scrambling quite as much?
Well, I'd just say this. He is a really good quarterback. He's poised in the pocket. He pitches off of the mound, and we're just going to have to find a way to get to him. In the past, we've used different games, things like that up front. But our deal is to be able to get to the quarterback and put pressure on him to be able to help our Sky team back in the secondary.
Zach.
Question for Coach Long. You've coached a lot of guys over the years that are playing on Sundays now in the NFL. Just can you speak to the kind of how that development of all that NFL talent along your defensive line over the years has evolved over the years?
Oh, wow. You're taking me back into a little bit of history there, but we've had quite a few guys. Corey Wooten, we've had Dean, we've had Lanny, we've had Afadi, who's doing really, really well now. The thing that I would say is that the development of those guys just start with the time that Coach gives me to work with those guys. When guys are in special teams and things like that on the field, we have time to work extra time, with the defensive linemen and work on our pass rush skills, our run fundamentals. But here is fundamentally based, and guys just work on those traits, and we're fortunate that all of those guys find time to come back because they love their Northwestern experience. They find time to come back and work with our guys in the off season, and it's special to see that and to see the growth. Right now, I've got Ernest Brown, who I think is going to be one of the best that I've ever coached here by the time that he leaves. I've got Eku Leota, who is really, really fast off the edge. I have Tommy Adebawori, who is another guy that has quickness and strength. But I'm really, really excited to see the future of Northwestern defensive line, and that growth happens during our individual time with those guys.
Noah.
Yeah, for Coach Ianni, last time this team started 3-0 in the Big Ten, you were on the sideline in a uniform back in 2000. So when you look at potential comparisons between this team and that team, that ended up becoming Big Ten champions, what do you see when you look at these two teams?
Yeah, I think for me, the one thing I think about and I've thought about lately is not really about the offense. It's about the defense and about the middle of the defense, the heartbeat of it, the linebackers. And when you look at the guys we have right now, with Patty obviously in the middle, Gallagher and Bergen, those three guys are all over the field. All right, they're making plays, they're doing everything in the run game, the pass game. And when I was playing, we had three guys: that Billy Silva, Napoleon Harris, Kevin Bentley. Napoleon was a first-round pick, KB was a fourth-round pick, and Billy was a potential first-day pick until he hurt his knee his senior year. But those three guys kind of ran that defense, and they made a lot of plays both in the pass game and then tackling the run. And I just see those three linebackers, and it's that we deal with them a lot because of the running back linebackers type of comparison. But those three guys, they're kind of like, to me, they're the glue. With everything. Our defensive backs have been playing outstanding. You're talking to Coach Long right now and talk about the D-line, who's the foundation of what we do on defense. They set it up. They started all up front. But those guys in the middle of the heartbeat. And those guys get this thing going. And that's kind of how in 2000 with those three linebackers, even though we had the up-tempo offense and we had the big plays with Damian and Sam, to me, that's the one thing that I kind of – three big-time linebackers back then, three big-time linebackers now. And that's the thing that kind of – sticks in my mind with both those teams.
Seems like the last question, Amit.
This one's for both of you. Last week we had Joe Spivak on, and he did his impression of Fitz and included of it. I know you were in there, Coach Long. As assistant coaches in the room, how accurate is Joe Spivak's impressions? How would you rate him?
Well, I would give Joe's feedback probably 5 Coach Hanks. All right, as far as his impressions, he is really, really good. You'll see him somewhere on TV. All right, but when he graduates, he's going to be in front of a camera, and he's going to be making a lot of money with that Northwestern degree.
I thought the Fitz one was good. The Coach Long one was even better. That was awesome.
All right. Thanks, coaches.
All right. Thank you.